Hello world, Justin Tucker here, moving on with the Drupal 7 convention and membership platform tutorial. In the previous videos, we kind of created some views for speakers, sponsors, and vendors. And if you saw the video, I initially had trouble getting this view to work. And I think I know why now, and wanted to test that and kind of make a video of it as I did. So I am going to go to speaker and just clone this as a test. Hopefully this will also serve as a lesson on the different ways you can do or the different ways you can achieve the same end result. If this does work, the next question would be which query is faster. Okay, so last time I had a minor issue of putting in the contextual ID of the node that this node belongs to and getting the result that I wanted. And in this scenario, I had to create a relationship based on this field of referenced speakers. And I'm bringing in speaker type. What I wanted to do last time was say no relationship, but of course that doesn't bring any results in. I think the issue is because I need to tell this to be a registration event. And not only that, so this is correct in that I'm saying, hey, show me the title of the node that we're on, really. And the title of node 1 is 2018 Perfectly Optimized Annual Conference. But if you recall, on our content type here of registration event, we had fields of speaker, sponsor, and vendor. So let me bring in the actual field. So let me hide this one. If you hide the only field you have, Drupal barks at you and says that's a problem. So I'm going to bring in the field reference speaker, and under this scenario, meaning wait, what happened? Okay, and I'm not going to use the relationship that I created again. That's a remnant of the other way I did it. I just didn't delete that. I probably should. And if I bring this in, you'll notice that I get to bring this in as change the formatter, add to cart, that won't apply. Label will just be the title. Entity ID will be a number, and rendered entity is what will be interesting. That is where we can control how things get laid out based on the manage display sections of each content type. But we'll get to that later. So we'll just say label for now to demonstrate this. Oh, what did I do here? Oh, did I mess up my... I sure did. Yep, I didn't choose that. I think I mentioned watch out for that. Here you just watched me do it. Well... Okay, messed that view up. Let me go be quick about this. And there we go. Go ahead and hide this label and make it linkable, and you'll notice we actually should get the exact same result. There's the speaker, but you'll notice that we do not have a relationship. We just have the NID, but we're bringing in the content type of registration event and bringing in the field of reference speaker on it and telling that field to show itself as a label. The other way that we could have done it and are currently doing it is we added a relationship, added the node ID, contextual filter, used that relationship, but told the content type to be speaker and brought in the title of that speaker node. You'll notice we should get a linkable title of both. So that's a good example of two totally different ways to achieve the same end result. So I said if that worked, probably the next cool thing to do would be to test and see which query is faster. And I believe in the settings area, advanced settings area of views, we can do that. So let me save this. If I go to views, settings, show the SQL query, show the performance statistics, and okay, so this render time was 7.5 milliseconds. And this render time is 26.25 milliseconds. Well, darn it. That means I need to do all the views this other way and not this way. So, but good lesson all the same, not only for me, but for anyone watching, that how you build it matters. This is one query. This is another. One is obviously much faster. So, all right, well, let's do that then. So this all of a sudden, all right, so one way we can do this is I know we don't need these anymore. Maybe I don't want to delete them just yet because I'm an information hoarder. Let me go ahead and save that. Now that will actually kill our views on our conference page here. If you recall, they were kind of over in this area, and now they're gone because, of course, they're disabled. So we're going to go back into here, and I'm going to kind of try and do this quickly without messing up. And what this should be is an exercise of cloning this view and bringing in the different field. So we'll go ahead and decide this one will be sponsors. But in this case, instead of changing the content type to sponsors, I'm going to leave it registration event, come in here and tell the speakers field to be removed, and for the sponsor field to be brought in. And you'll want this top one here. We don't need the delta. Now, another way we could do this is to add all the fields, speakers, sponsors, and vendors. I'm not going to do that just because I think we'll probably want the ability to lay out the speakers one way, sponsors one way, vendors another way. If not, that's fine, okay, but the option's kind of built in to be there. I don't know if we had any sponsors. We did. Why is that one 25? Well, now I'm getting some different results here. Probably should have done that before I did this, but that's okay. I actually think I like the other way better just because it has the same content type and one less relationship, so it's actually a less complicated view. All right, and we'll do it one more time for vendors. That's another reason we'll just disable these and not delete them. Maybe we do want to hold on to them for testing purposes. Oh, and I've got to change out the field. So I hope this can at least serve to illustrate, again, the different ways you can get to the same end result, especially with Drupal. It does matter often how that end result is achieved. And there's our vendor. Yeah, so you can kind of see the length of this query. Again, it's not going to be drastic. These aren't too crazy, but this one's cleaner. So either way, whether it was for shaving down milliseconds or just a little bit cleaner query, I'm going to go ahead and go with these new displays. But I think this was a really good lesson on how relationships works, how contextual filters works, how contextual filters with relationships work, and then how that kind of changes which content type you use versus field, etc. Now, something else we're going to get into here in upcoming videos is the managed display, or the display side of everything now, because we currently still have a very poorly laid out, ugly conference screen, and each one of these content types that we have created, you'll notice in this little flyout there's a managed display, managed display, managed display, and all of them have a teaser display by default. We can actually add to this list on a per content type basis, and that is usually how I like to control how things are laid out in views. So what we'll probably do here before it's all said and done is, did these get disabled? Yes, they did. Is instead of saying, hey field, show yourself as a label, which looks like this, we're going to say, hey field, show yourself as the page that you are, rendered entity. Once you say that, then it asks you, okay, of the different view displays we've got on the site, which one would you like us to use here? So if I just say full content, we should see the full page, and there it is. So what I like to do is telling the views, okay, here is your view mode we're going to use, whatever that ends up being, whatever that is going to be called. And then you hit save on the view, and you're kind of done with your view. You can then control that. Let's see, we were on photo gallery right there, or I'm sorry, a speaker. So if we go to speaker, manage display, so we just have default and teaser that applies to this. Okay, but this list right here, if you notice, that corresponds directly to this list right here. And of these, I have told this content type of speaker only use the teaser, and of course the default comes with them all. So I could choose other ones, or I could make a new one. And call it, I don't know, event display. and I want this to belong to nodes. And then once I do that, if I go back here to my speaker content type manage display tab and refresh, I now have event display. And if I check that and hit save, I now have default teaser and event display, and I can choose to do different things with the event display. So that's kind of where I'm going to leave off here, and that's really what some of the next videos are going to get into, is managing the event displays of each content type so that in the view, so let's pretend I did work here. I got this thing looking the way I wanted it to in terms of placement. I now have a new event display. I can tell it to show, which in this case is the exact same look, but now this view would be done, and forever in the future I can just always go here, change how things look, and then this view obeys it in terms of its layout, and you still have this very clean query happening. So I'll go ahead and just leave this label for now. We'll link it to the entity. Go ahead and hit save, and I guess before I end this video, I will add these to our fictitious convention here, or conference. So in order to distinguish these, I probably need to rename them, rename the display names. So yeah, at the end of the day, not really sure if making these other three were necessary, but I think it's a cleaner query. I think it's a simpler view, and hopefully it can kind of illustrate better how all this works and fits together. So let me save that. Go back to my panel. So here are the three displays that we initially had that I disabled through the views. Actually, we don't want to disable it, we want to remove it. Yes. Remove. Yes. I'll go to view panes, and that's pretty much all that I'm doing, and here's the new ones. And I'll go ahead and update and save this. And here are my speaker sponsors and vendors. So they were placed under the calendar, but again, the exact same results as we had before, just achieved in a completely different way. So I will leave this video off here at this point. Maybe a little deviation on different ways to do views, but hopefully it was valuable. If you guys enjoy these videos, please consider subscribing. It lets me know to make more, and if you have any thoughts, feedback, or questions, please reach out. Love the interaction. That concludes this video. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.